Ladies and gentlemen, will you welcome onto stage Sally Barker, Chairperson of British Blind Sport.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the launch of the 2023 International Blind Sports Federation's World Games. Elena McGregor, British Blind Sport CEO, and myself decided to bid to host the World Games as we believed that this event would help us raise the profile of sport for blind and partially sighted people in the UK. We also believed that the event would encourage those with a visual impairment to realise that sport is something they can get involved in, whether as athletes, volunteers or spectators. Sport England's data has consistently shown over a number of years that blind and partially sighted people are the least likely to take up sport and physical activity in comparison to other disability and impairment groups. And with this event, we hope to change this. We are delighted when Birmingham City Council and the University of Birmingham agreed to join us in our bid, and we are grateful for the support of UK Sport and MLS Events Limited and our lead sponsor, the largest sight charity in the UK, the RNIB. Together, we have created a strong partnership that will deliver a vibrant, inclusive and welcoming sporting event for the blind and partially sighted people from around the world. It has taken 3 years to get to the launch today, and like everyone else, we've had to deal with a pandemic in between. But we are now all systems go and looking forward to a fantastic event with over 1,200 athletes competing in 11 sports, including 3 Paralympic qualification events for Paris 24. Our focus is on highlighting the abilities and sporting excellence of blind and partially sighted sportsmen and women for the first time in a world event in the UK. However, we are conscious of our environment and we are planning a compact games held within the university's facilities and surrounding venues in Edgbaston, including the Priory Club and King Edward's School. This means that all but 2 sports are within a 20-minute walking distance of the Games village. Shooting and partially sighted football will be held at Aldersley Village in the neighbouring city of Wolverhampton, where specialist facilities will create a Games hub. These compact games will minimise travel and not only be great for athletes, officials and spectators, but importantly, will also allow for more eco-friendly games. I would like to take this opportunity to welcome Sandro Di Girolamo, I knew I'd get that wrong, President of the International Blind Sports Federation, and to thank him and his board for his faith in awarding us this event. Thank you, Sandro. Thank you all for coming along to our launch today, and to those of us joining us virtually from around the world. I do hope you will attend the IBSA World Games next year and see for yourself the passion, emotion and dedication of the competitors and all those that support them achieve their goals. Please enjoy today's launch, and I will now hand over to Tim Reddish, our host for today, and he is chair of the 2023 Games Ambassadors Group. As a 3 times B2 Paralympic Games silver medalist swimmer, Tim understands more than most what the 2023 IBSA World Games are all about. Thank you, and over to you, Tim.
Thank you, Sally, and I first of all want to congratulate you and the team of people that you've brought together to get us to where we are now, because it has been an incredible journey. My role today really is to hopefully be the mortar between the bricks, because all these people will be doing the hard work. I'm here to keep things on track. Those of you that know me, not a chance. We're here to celebrate something very special. When I first started out in my journey, I was diagnosed that I would go blind, didn't know anything about blind sport at the level that we are at now. I just used to teach young kids with a disability to swim. So, my journey started here in Birmingham, so it's great, because I started with British Blind Sport Swimming with their swimming programme. In Birmingham was where we were based. staying in a B&B on the Hagley Road, travelling to Hales Owen swimming pool to do some swimming, etc., etc. So it's moved on a long way. And I want to put on record my sincere thanks to British Blind Sport, because they were the pathfinders in those days, and they are now going to be a leader as well as a pathfinder in the future. We're here to celebrate something special. What does that mean? It means that you, people here, are experiencing something that's never happened before. World Games have never taken place in this country before for IBSA, which is great. There are a number of partners here: University of Birmingham, UK Sport, British Blind Sport. We will be working together to make this happen. What I wanted to say is that this is unique in the fact that, would we have all these people in front of us today to celebrate a launch if we hadn't have had the successes we've had over the years? But why have we had those successes? Because of great people doing great things. Sandro, welcome. We are going to enjoy today. We're going to demonstrate to you that we will deliver something exceptionally special. For you, IBSA, the International Blind Sports Association, but also the people of Great Britain, but first and foremost, the athletes and their support staff. Thank you for being here. Enjoy this morning. Don't worry about the timings. And by the way, if the lights go out, there's plenty of guide dog owners around here to help you get out. There will be a small fee, because we always need help. I'd like to welcome the President of the International Blind Sports Association, Sandro Di Girolamo. I hope I've got it right. And his interpreter to come and say a few words and welcome you all here this morning. Thank you.
Good morning, buongiorno a tutti. Per me è un piacere essere qui con voi e presentare questo importante evento internazionale, questo importante evento che darà visibilità a IBSA e a tutto il mondo paralimpico. Sono felice di essere qui per presentare questo evento che sarà sicuramente molto importante, sarà sicuramente un grande evento, un evento globale che darà la possibilità ai nostri atleti di poter confrontarsi, di poter qualificarsi per le Paralimpiadi del 2024 e oltre di poter dare la possibilità di una nuova offerta sportiva per i nostri atleti, promuovendo delle nuove attività sportive qui a Birmingham, e sono certo che sarà un grande evento e già da subito l'IBSA ha creduto nella Federazione degli Sport per non vedenti inglese e ha promosso questa assegnazione, ha promosso questo evento che nel 2023 ci darà tante soddisfazioni. Il nuovo Consiglio IBSA, insediatosi nel 2021, sta cercando di innovare l'organizzazione, il sistema organizzativo e tutto l'apparato per rinnovare veramente la struttura che gestisce IBSA e che soprattutto dà la possibilità ai nostri atleti di fare attività internazionale. Sicuramente il nuovo Consiglio vuole collaborare ancora di più con il Comitato Paralimpico, il Comitato Paralimpico Internazionale, perché è quella la strada che IBSA deve seguire. Detto questo, io ribadisco ancora la felicità di poter presentare questo evento, ringrazio gli organizzatori e sono sicuro che sarà un grandioso evento globale. Grazie.
Good morning, everyone, and it is with great pleasure that I'm here today for the presentation of this extremely important Paralympic sport event, to which around 70 national federations will participate. This will give the possibility to many of our athletes to participate, also gaining and having the possibility of being qualified for the next 2024 Paralympic Games, and to others of being exposed and learn more about emerging disciplines in our world of blind and partially sighted. As IBSA, we have immediately and firmly believed in the capacity and the intention of the British Blind Sports Federation to organize such a vital event. IBSA, with its new executive board elected in 2021, is trying to renew its organization and management and bringing new sports opportunities and possibilities to our athletes around the world. Also in connection and collaboration with IPC to provide more visibility and show the leadership of IBSA at a global level. So again, I want to thank the organizers of this event to have believed in this project, and I'm sure that IBSA World Games in Birmingham will be a great success. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sandro, for those kind words. As I said earlier, this will be special. We want to excite the world, and we also want to excite you and the people within Birmingham. I mentioned earlier some of our key partners, but one of our major partners here is obviously the City of Birmingham. This is where we are. This is where we will deliver the games. Their help and support, along with our other partners, will enable us to deliver that very, very special event. Why is it special? Because it is a World Games. It's the pinnacle for some of those sports, because not all the sports get the opportunity to compete at the Paralympic Games. So for some of those sports, this will be exceptionally special. Just to let you know that we are now live streaming. So if you want to throw anything at me, please let me know so I know where to duck. We will also have images on the screens for those that may not be able to see it. They are images of the speakers, their names, and some of our athletes. And some of you may have spotted that we've got a gaggle behind me, to my right and your left, of athletes who you will hear from later this morning. So, what it will also give us is that qualification opportunity for free sports, which is important because we have Paris coming on. What I'd like to do now is invite, I've got to get the name right, Professor David Adams, MD, who is the Pro Vice Chancellor at the University of Birmingham. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, and welcome to everybody to the University of Birmingham. We are extremely proud and excited to be hosting these games. It's a wonderful opportunity for the city and the region and for the university. And as you will see, and many of you know, we have a long legacy of sport at the University of Birmingham, having hosted before the World Transplant Games, being heavily involved in the Commonwealth Games that are coming up later this year. And we have wonderful facilities to make these games, I really hope, exciting and highly successful. And we're looking forward to working with our partners to drive the games forward. In addition to our interest in sport and the sporting legacy of the university, we've got a long-standing series of programs of research into both the mechanisms and treatments of eye disease, and also to help people with visual impairment to cope with living better. And just to mention some of these, scientists from my own college, the College of Medical and Dental Sciences, are working on using AI techniques to better diagnose early eye disease. And this is a program working very closely with Moorfields in London. And this program, called Insight, is using artificial intelligence to diagnose disease early, allowing us to pick it up and prevent it progressing, or to allow us to tailor therapy in much more accurate ways at the mechanisms underlying those diseases. Other scientists are looking at developing new treatments, new ways of delivering treatments into the eye that can help drive repair and prevent the progression of a range of eye diseases, including glaucoma, corneal opacities, and age-related macular degeneration. So there's a lot of scientific research going on in the university into aspects of eye disease. But in addition, a really important role that we play is academics from our School of Education are helping those who have lost their sight to live with blindness. So they're developing a new curriculum framework which aims to define specialist skills development and best practice support for children and young people across the UK. And in conjunction with the RNIB, we have established the Vision Impairment Centre for Teaching and Research, or VICTA for short, which is the largest UK training provider, which is helping to provide teachers with the skills they need to teach children and young people with visual impairments. So you can see that work around visual loss and blindness is a really important part across the university, and taken together with our passion for sport, we are really excited to be hosting these games. Our scientists will be around today and will be there to talk to you about some of the research that they are doing. In the meantime, can I wish you all the greatest success in the games going forward, and we really look forward to hosting them in 2023. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Adams. It's really exciting to see that sport doesn't stand alone, that we can have connectivity, and also that we have science supporting improvements and research, because that's important because of the world we're in now. I just wanted to reflect a little bit as well where Professor Adams mentioned the university and its facilities and its links with sport. And what's really, really beneficial to us as athletes is it's very rare that we get to mix with other sports and other athletes from different sports. So it's really, really good that the campus and the complex, and in particular the accommodation and the athlete's second favourite place behind the field of play, the food hall, gives us an opportunity to interact and engage. My first games I went to, I'd never come across so many different people with a visual impairment and blindness. And it was great for us to exchange our thoughts, our views, and what we feel, think and behave on a daily basis, because we don't always get that opportunity. And this is something that's very special to me, to my heart, and I know a lot of people in this room about the social impact that sport brings. So thank you, University of Birmingham, for providing us with that opportunity. Now we're coming to something very special. Why are the games coming? Well, they're coming because they're going to be great, and also they're there for the athletes. We've got some very special athletes with us today, and they're going to have a conversation with a colleague, and, well, I think we're still friends, David Clark. Now, David, we've known each other for a number of years. I was privileged to be the head of delegation in London 2012 when David was there with our football team. Now, David is a prolific goal scorer, 128 goals. I think maybe Birmingham City and Aston Villa could do with a bit of help there. I'm quite happy to be your agent, David. I'm sure we can do a good deal. So, David is going to speak and have a chat and conversation with some of our athletes. I'm going to introduce them very, very briefly, and I'd just like them to give us a wave. And for those of you that I said earlier, we will be just giving some images on the screen, so you're not missing too much from there if you can't see it. So, starting with cyclist Neil Facky, MBE. Give us a wave, Neil. Thank you. Cyclist Laura Thackey, MBE. Shooter Michael Wapples. Goalball Antonio Bunyan. Judo Jack Hodgkinson. Blind football Rainbow Buwangi. I think I've got that right. And one thing that the athletes can't do is give David any bullshit because he's been there. Thank you, David.
Thank you, Tim. And really fantastic to be here. We do have a couple of guide dogs sat at our feet. We're hoping that they're going to stay in the reclined position, but we will see. So what a fantastic lineup of guests. And I think I would like to start with what can only be described as cycling royalty to my right, Neil and Laura. But Neil, if I could start with you, because of course you have a role on the stakeholder board for these games, and just really interested to know from you what it's like to be here at the launch and what it's going to mean to Birmingham as a city for the games to be coming here.
Yeah, thank you, David. I mean, as you know, being on the board yourself, it's been a challenge for everyone through this COVID period where we've been meeting online, not able to meet in person. So this is actually the first time that we've come together, many of us, and what is the launch of what's going to be an incredible event, obviously on the back of the Commonwealth Games happening this summer, which I'm hoping to be part of as well as an athlete. To see the launch happening, to open up, I guess, to the people of Birmingham first and foremost, but to the nation as a whole, the level of sport and visual impairment that will be on display here in 2023. And it's so exciting to be at this stage now where we're now counting down the days till we actually get out there and get to watch it. I mean, I don't think I'll be competing because cycling isn't part of the games, but I can't wait to come and watch some of you guys that are going to be competing there and cheering you on, and hopefully the home team will top the table. Who knows?
That's brilliant. Well, you're going to hopefully get your turn this year, so that's fantastic. But so, I mean, Laura, you've cycled, around the globe. Not literally, you cycled around the globe, but you cycled around various places in the globe, and also you've cycled at home as well. What's the thing about going abroad to compete, and also what are the benefits of competing at home?
My first Paralympics were the London Paralympics, so I got to experience a home games firsthand, and my first major competition. I'd been away to sort of World Championships before then, but my first big stage games was the home, these massive London games, and it was just incredible, like having so many people, friendly faces who spoke your language and cheered you on at the side of the road when you were racing, or stood in the crowds and in the stands and cheered you on, and that support from the spectators and the volunteers who've always got your back, and they don't really care. It took me a long time to realise afterwards, but they didn't really care. They wanted us to win, but they didn't care. They just wanted to support us and cheer us on, and it was such an incredible atmosphere to be part of, and it's something I think if any athlete gets the opportunity to race at a home competition and on the world stage, it's something that will live with you for the rest of your life, and it's incredible.
And what you mentioned there about the spectators and that, but volunteering at something like this, spectating at something like this, bringing people in. I mean, I imagine that it must be such a buzz to do that. And of course, all the games you're involved with around the world, they're all facilitated by people coming along and doing that. So it's a really important part of it, isn't it, Laura?
Yeah, I mean, any sporting event can't happen without the help and, you know, the time of volunteers. And we're all, as athletes, we're always incredibly grateful for the hours of commitment that they put in to make the games run smoothly. Like, it's easy for us in a way. We do the easy part. We do what we do, you know, day in, day out. And yeah, it really wouldn't happen without people's generosity and support.
No, that's fantastic. Thank you very much. And of course, for some of these sports, this is a qualifier. And Antonia, I mean, how are you feeling about bringing goalball to Birmingham and competing on the highest stage, but also the opportunity to qualify for Paris maybe and beyond?
I'm extremely excited about the whole games, and it'll be my first home sort of massive event. So there's a lot of nerves going on, but equally, we've always said as a squad that we want to provide ourselves with the best opportunities to qualify, and this is going to be a massive opportunity for us to, fingers crossed, to qualify for the Paralympics. And we were so close last time, and hopefully this time we'll actually get all the way there and actually qualify. But yeah, really excited.
Yeah, and it's kind of like, you know, that 18 by 9 metre court can be anywhere, right? You can be in a sports hall anywhere, but can you just put into words what it's going to mean to, you know, not being in some different part of the globe, but actually to be here with friends and family and all those guys around you, you know, excitedly cheering you on?
Yeah, it's definitely going to be different to a lot of events that I've been to. It's going to be on a bigger scale, from what I can imagine anyway. It being a home games, there's going to be family, friends there, and it's going to be, I think, a bit of a whirlwind. I think it's going to test my sort of way of being able to handle having so many people know me, watching me, and actually being there. But I think I'm really excited to just be able to experience that at such a young age as well.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Does Antonio need to be frightened of you all out there in Birmingham, or are you going to be a massive support? It's going to be that, right? It's going to be awesome. And Rainbow, I mean, I think you've just come back from Brazil, I think, if I'm right, but certainly a globe trotter yourself. I mean, to come and play five-a-side football here in Birmingham, what's that going to mean to you?
Yeah, David, I've just got back from Argentina, and
oh, I was nearly right.
But even that, like, just playing the best teams in the world in another country it's incredible. Like, we got a 0-0 draw against Brazil, who's got gold medals in the Paralympics, and to have that team environment where we're getting a 0-0 draw out in Argentina, it's an amazing feeling. So bringing it next year to Birmingham and having it in our own country, it's just going to be incredible. The team environment, as you know, just playing football, it's incredible, and I can't wait, because I can't wait to have friends, family, but also other people out there who's sighted or blind or visually impaired out there to come and experience the games. Not even just blind football, the whole games itself is going to be inspiring, and that's all I want to do. And the rest of the lads is bring it home. Well, we're already going to be at home, but I mean, to bring it home and to actually win something. You've been in the setup as well, David, a few years ago, and England's never really won that much. But
he's not wrong.
But that's the motivating thing is England's never won that much, but we got a great team now, and it's such a young team, and I'm 19 now, but I started off at the age of 15, and that's all thanks to all the coaches and everything that's helped me out there. And I think together we're motivated to go on and win gold at the games, but also to go on into Paralympics and represent England.
Brilliant. I must tell you, we also got 0 against Brazil, but that was our score. Generally theirs was 4, 5 and 6, but we'll move on from my career pretty quickly. Now, Michael, Shooting. Tell us all about it. Tell us your role in it, and also tell us what it's going to mean for Birmingham.
Okay, for me, this is actually a massive event because this is the first time that shooting actually has been in the IBSA World Games. So it's actually going to be the first actual multi-sport games that I'll have actually competed in. And then for it to be a home competition as well. And when I think about it, the venue we're using at Aldersley Village, that is where I actually did a lot of the national championships, where I actually started my competitive shooting. So there's a lot of things all coming together for me. And I possibly would say, if on the day, if you come along to watch and you see me just not looking bothered, that's because I'm just having to zone out a bit of all those things coming together just to stop the nerves. I really am excited for this, but as I said, if I think about it too much, I'll be getting quite nervous on that.
Yeah. That's fantastic. And you know, a huge amount of kind of this is about social attitudes towards visual impairment and that. Can you explain kind of how you got into shooting and why it's such an important thing in your life?
Shooting, I started when I was at school. It's that I went to a specialist school for the visually impaired, and they had the equipment, and I thought, I'll have a go at that. And I'm not quite sure exactly what it was that hooked me on it. Shooting is possibly a bit different to some of the other sports. It's not necessarily a big high energy thing. It's quite a position sport. There's a lot of the mental aspect to it, of being determined, thinking about what you're doing, judging it. So there's a lot of mental training that goes into it as well. And maybe it was that aspect that sort of partly captured me, the challenge against myself, that I could almost sort of, when I'm competing, it's, am I doing better? It's not necessarily what the opponents are doing.
Absolutely fantastic. And Jack, it's great to be on the stage with, you know, someone of a similar size as me, but I'm a lot worse fighter than you are. What are you looking forward to most coming to Birmingham?
About the games coming to Birmingham, what really excites me is the fact that, and I'm probably going to get run off the stage here, but the British Judo National Olympic and Paralympic Training Centre is actually over at the University of Wolverhampton. So it's maybe a rival university for some people here, but the fact that we're so close in proximity means that we're able to really prioritise our team and have the best preparation environment, the best training with our own training partners, our own accommodation. We can almost set the standards for what we want it to be coming into the event, whereas previously we have to, say if we go to Korea or something like that, like the last games, we're very much at the mercy of what's been put on for us. So hopefully performance-wise, we're able to really highlight the best of British judo.
And similar to Antonia, the mats, wherever they're laid down, are the mats, right? But what do you think? What do you think the energy of competing at home in front of crowds? What's that going to mean to you?
Well, it's completely different. I think a lot of people here, especially in blind sport, we know that we don't get a lot of spectators internationally. It's not what people rush to. But being back at home, we're able to have our friends and our family, and hopefully the city of Birmingham and the students here and whatnot, able to really experience what it's like to be part of blind sport and Paralympic sport. Most of the guys, especially at judo, we've moved away from our families really early to take up judo full time, and that is our role. So we really rarely get to see our family, and they rarely get to see us and how we do in competing. So it's very much like a games-like experience for us to have them there and to have that sort of village environment. So it's going to be a spectacular event, I'm sure.
That's brilliant, and I think there's an opportunity for you to throw people around later here, isn't there? If anyone wants to try out judo, I'll be at the coffee stand personally. I won't be participating in that. And I mean, going back to Neil and Laura, as you say, you're not going to be competing at these games, but lots of talk about nerves, anticipation, excitement. I mean, Neil, what's your take on that in terms of how to deal with that? How to deal with that the brilliant side of a home audience, but also the extra pressure that people might feel.
Yeah, I mean, you yourself know, Dave, from going back to those London Paralympics, which I guess is when we really saw that boom in Paralympic sport, and of course, therefore, in visually impaired sport, and what it was to compete in front of those home crowds where, yes, there's that added expectation and pressure, but in reality, we always put pressure on ourselves as athletes anyway, and I'll guess for you guys who are going to your first home games here that you'll feel that pressure like you would in any event. It's not really going to be massively different. You might elevate it slightly in your head, but the benefit you do get is that support when you look around the stadium, when you hear that noise, when you realise your friends and family are there. And as Laura said earlier, people aren't there to see you win, they're just there to see you perform. And they don't really care what your result is, it's you that cares about that. So having that support there is massive. And I vividly remember going back to London, my event that I won gold in, I was coming into the last lap of my race. It's 4 laps of the track, and normally you're not aware when you're cycling. It's such a physical effort that you sort of zone out entirely mentally. But I just remember the roar from the crowd in that last lap and how I was able to dig that little bit deeper, get that little bit more out of it. And ultimately that's why I won the gold. So listen, it's a great opportunity for those that are going to be competing, particularly those who are going to be going for qualification for Paralympics as well. I know that's a pressure in itself, but yeah, it's such a great opportunity that you're not going to regret, you're not going to miss out, and just make the most of it, enjoy it, and try and take it in. I think that's the key thing.
Yeah. Does it use that kind of extra pressure to your benefit, Laura, would you say?
Yeah, I think for me, so when I prepare for a race, I don't get, like, I like to stay as calm as possible. So I generally spend, whether it's a home event or an away event kind of thing, I spend the morning doing exactly the same routine and just hanging on to that comfort blanket of, I do this every day, nothing's different, and just trying to really normalize what I'm doing so that I deal with the nerves. Because even, I mean, I've been competing for 13 years now, which makes me sound very old. But, you know, you still get nervous. Every race, you still get nervous because it means so much to you as an individual. You know, you're the one that puts all the time and effort in. You're the one that wants the outcome. But you also are the only one that can control how you prepare and how you turn up on the day. So you focus on what you can control. And the bonus of the home games is you don't have the travel. That we were over in Tokyo last year, and you had to deal with the time zone. You had to deal with the high increase in temperature and the humidity. So they're all environmentals that are a lot different to what your home environment is. Whereas here, you know, it's exactly the same time, same temperature, what you're used to, same sort of food you get on a day-to-day basis. Nothing's different, so you don't have to adapt. You can just crack on and make the most of it.
Yeah, apparently good weather is planned for the 18th to the 27th of August in Birmingham. So the scientists have really been at work at the university here. That's quite impressive. And of course, you know, I personally did use the home advantage in London 2012 because after I scored against Spain, I turned round to hug the first person I could find who happened to be the referee. So front page of the Metro later, that was my home games. That was something to be remembered by. And finally, Rainbow, you and I don't normally talk because you're a Man United fan and I'm a Liverpool fan, but I've got to ask you, you obviously cycled in the rickshaw from Manchester to Liverpool for sport relief. You planning to come on the train to Birmingham, or will you be getting the rickshaw out again and cycling down here and getting a bit of help from Laura and Neil on the way?
No, I think definitely staying in the village. Probably just travel down on the train, probably just get a rest. But no, I think staying in the village and just having that atmosphere, and we've mentioned a couple of times, just that home atmosphere is just going to be amazing. Yeah. Stood down the pitch, singing your national anthem. It's a lot different singing at home when you're away. So it's going to be an amazing atmosphere, and can't wait just to qualify for the Paralympics. And yeah, I can't wait for it. I'm really looking forward to it.
Awesome. And Birmingham, are we excited about this? Yes? Yes? Are we really excited about this? Yes? Yeah. Very good. If I can just sort of briefly sort of flip hats, another role I have is I'm Chief Operating Officer at the RNIB, and I just wanted to say, it was mentioned kindly before by Sally, but the RNIB, we are the lead sponsors for these games, and we are absolutely delighted to be so. You know, Tim very eruditely mentioned what an incredible role sport can play in people's lives. But from some research we did recently, around 54% of blind and partially sighted people do less than half an hour's activity per week. And that comes down to matters of inclusion and how those opportunities are presented and how comfortable people feel in being involved in sport and activity and movement. But as we all know, it's really, really important for well-being, for physical and mental well-being. And I think there are some massive opportunities to participate in these games. You know, we're talking about 1,250 athletes coming from around the world, 500 officials, over 300 volunteers, and there's all sorts of ways in which people can get involved. And we at the RNIB really saw this as an opportunity to showcase visual impairment and blindness. And to do that in a city like Birmingham is going to be a real privilege. And we're really looking forward to bringing together huge audiences right across not only the sight loss community, but the wider community across the UK and around the globe to come and see an incredible event, but also to understand the importance of blind and partially sighted people having the ability and being allowed to participate equally in society. And just coming to the university here, it's fantastic to see how the campus is constructed with inclusion in mind and accessibility in mind. And it's no surprise, as the professor was saying, that RNIB has worked very closely with the university on launching, in recent months, the first ever curriculum for visually impaired children and young people. And so there is a huge reputation here at the university. We're very, very grateful to Birmingham City Council, UK Sport, our fantastic partners in lots of other work we do, British Blind Sport. But most of all, you know, for RNIB, this is an opportunity to showcase blind and visually impaired talent at the highest level, but also to see that mushroom out into wider society, so that people like me and other colleagues who are on this stage can live the life we want to lead and live it equally and participate equally across important areas like education, employment, technology, health and sport. So we're very, very proud to be lead sponsor, and we really look forward to working with you all to ensure we have the most amazing experience next August. So thank you to all of the athletes here. Can you give them a round of applause? And we will hand you back to Tim.
Thank you, David. Where's it gone? I don't want to stick it up my nose, do I? Dogs just trip me up as well. Guide dogs useless, aren't they? Anyway, David, thank you. And please convey our sincere thanks back to all the board and everybody back at RNIB, because it is important. The people out there don't realise the work that both RNIB do and other agencies out there for people with disabilities, and certainly for the visually impaired and blind community. So what have we learned from that? We've learned that the athletes are excited. We've learned the importance of the home games. But also we've learned that it's important that the athletes get that backing. And part of that backing is coming from the City of Birmingham, Councillor Ian Ward, who is the leader of Birmingham City Council, plus the chair of our stakeholder board for the 2023 IBSA World Games.
Thank you very much, and good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the City of Birmingham. And thank you for joining us today as we formally begin the countdown to the 2023 IBSA World Games. I don't expect it'll come as a huge surprise when I say that at most of my current speaking engagements at the moment, I note how many days remain until the Commonwealth Games get underway. It's 92, by the way, so no pressure. But of course, we're gathered here today because this city is preparing to host another major sporting event, and in just 478 days' time, we will welcome over 1,200 competitors from more than 70 nations for the 7th World Blind Games. This is a big deal, and I want to thank British Blind Sport and the International Blind Sports Federation for bringing this event to Birmingham. I'm hugely honoured to chair the Stakeholder Board and can promise you that this city will host an unforgettable World Games. I say that with confidence because Birmingham is a city with an impressive track record when it comes to hosting major sporting events. We also understand the power of sport to lift and inspire people, whether that's to compete themselves or simply to be more physically active. So my hope is that next year's event will encourage the 30,000 blind and partially sighted people across Birmingham to take up new sporting opportunities. To give you one example, this city is already home to a number of blind footballers, and we're currently in talks with the sport of goalball to see how we might further promote and develop the game in Birmingham. This is just the start of Birmingham's journey when it comes to blind and partially sighted sport. And with the help of the UK's governing bodies of sport, and of course, fantastic venues like the University of Birmingham, we will use the 2023 IBSA World Games as a springboard to increase participation in a range of sports. 478 days may seem like a long wait, but I know from the Commonwealth Games countdown that these big events arrive quicker than you think. So I look forward to welcoming you all to Birmingham next August. This city is very proud to be hosting the World Blind Games, and our young and diverse population here in Birmingham will provide a warm welcome to the exceptional athletes competing in the Games and providing all of us with world-class action that will be truly inspirational. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Wood. Just to reflect on that, Commonwealth Games, we're not bothered about that being a rehearsal for us. We'll pinch some of their volunteers and we'll pinch some of their knowledge because that's what good coaches and elite performers do. We replicate, we borrow, we share. I thank you, Councillor Ward, and please convey our sincere thanks and best wishes from the blind community to you and everybody at the Commonwealth Games, and we look forward to coming back to Birmingham for the IBSA World Games. Now, it's my great pleasure to introduce a good friend and colleague who put us under extreme pressure to get us to where we are today, and it's Sally Mundy from UK Sport.
Have to lower the mic, being the shortest one here. Good morning. It is such a pleasure to be here for the launch of this event. It is so exciting. I've had a silly grin on my face all morning on the train up here thinking about this launch event finally happening. I know there's been a number of near misses. At UK Sport, we are incredibly proud to via the National Lottery, be able to make investment into this event and to partner with British Blind Sport and all of the partners in this event to bring this to Birmingham in 2023. And I'd like to offer my congratulations to British Blind Sport in the bid and the successful bid to bring it here. Congratulations to you and everybody that's been involved in making that happen. As we get close to this incredible city hosting the Commonwealth Games this summer, it's right to recognise Birmingham City's incredibly strong attitude, approach, investment, and willingness to bring major events to this city. They have an incredible major event strategy, and it is fantastic to see what they're doing across a range of events. IBSA next year, but also the international trampolining event that they're bringing, a whole range of things, not just some of the things that a lot of people would see as glitzy and glamoury, but they're actually bringing other sports that are not always seen on the world stage as being those big events. And that's really, really important. And we're hugely appreciative of what everybody does at Birmingham City Council to bring events to this country and enable us to continue our reputation as a nation to be a fantastic major event world host. At UK Sport, we're also really excited by the opportunity that this event provides, and particularly pleased to see the Games act as a qualifier for the 3 Paralympic events in Paris, and to support the British athletes who will be seeing this event either as the pinnacle of their career or as a qualifying event for Paris. And that is obviously just 2 years away now. It's come around very quickly following the delay of the 2020 Games. But these games are not only an opportunity for those competing to represent their country on home soil, but also, as been said this morning, a catalyst to drive positive change for people with visual impairments, encouraging more people to take up physical activity and provide really important opportunities to work and volunteer on a world-class event. And what I'd like to do finally is just to dwell just for a moment and ask all of you just to dwell for a moment on what that opportunity is for competing on home soil, as we've talked about this morning. I've worked in performance sport for a long time, and I've had the real privilege of experiencing and standing alongside athletes who are about to compete on home soil. And I know what it means to them. We've heard it this morning from a number of them on the stage. And what I'd like you to do is just imagine being one of those athletes. Think of the athletes in the room today, but the other 1,300 athletes that will be here competing. But think of the British athletes and imagine being them in that moment before they're about to walk out and compete. As Rainbow said, that moment when they're standing there about to sing their national anthem on home soil. I don't know about you, but it gives me goosebumps. It makes my spine tingle to think of that opportunity of those athletes having that opportunity to compete on home soil. And I'm positive, with the good advice of Neil and others, that they will channel that feeling into incredible performances. But I would like to, when thinking about that, thank everybody that's made it possible to bring this event to Birmingham and to the UK. What you are doing is creating stuff that dreams are made of for these athletes. So a huge thank you to everybody that's been involved in making it happen. And I'm very much looking forward to next summer and being here and seeing those moments when the athletes get to walk out and compete. Thank you.
Thank you, Sally. We're nearly there. Lunch will be served shortly, but you've got to earn it first, like we all do. It's my great pleasure, really, to just lead us into the phase where you get the opportunity to come and experience some of our great sport. There'll be lunch, there'll be opportunities to meet the athletes, for the media to come and get involved. But before then, I just wanted to reflect on a few things that have been said. Sally, we came down to London and presented to the panel, and the panel graciously accepted the bid for us to receive some funding from UK Sport. But what that enabled us to do was give us the confidence. And when I say us, because I'm just the ambassador, I'm just the mouthpiece up here. It was all those people that did all the hard work, the BBS and all the partners, putting together this great product that we're going to deliver. But what it enabled us to do was unlock other opportunities. RNIB have come in as a sponsor. But in addition to that, RNIB, in partnership with Sport England, with British Blind Sport, and also with Sport Birmingham, will look to support and deliver opportunities for those 30,000 blind and visually impaired. So Sally, I thank you and your colleagues at UK Sport, because without that at the beginning, may not enable us to unlock that additional stuff. So for me, it's about impact. We hear the word legacy a lot. don't like it personally. Those of you know me know I'm very outspoken sometimes. I hate the word legacy. Legacy sometimes gives you a view of what comes after. I'm more interested in the impact. What happens now? And what happens now is we've got the launch. We've got an opportunity. It's gaining momentum. It's getting us excited. Athletes are here. They know we will deliver for them. Impact starts now. Legacy, I'm not worried about. Because if we deliver an impact now, there'll be no need to think about legacy. And this is what's important to me and my colleagues. Elite performance athletes, they will deliver. Participation athletes, we will increase. So together, we will make this happen. I will be there for BBS, IBSA 2023, and all those sports and athletes to shake the tree and ensure that we have something to remember, and that athletes or individuals that just want to participate in sport, that are blind and have an impairment, don't have to go down and kick down doors like I had to when I first started. So, there are opportunities. All of you, I want you to be ambassadors. So what can you do? There's lots you can do. You can promote what's happening on the screen, and we will ensure that those that are visually impaired or blind get to see this. There'll be the website that you can connect with. There'll be the social media channels. We want those out there. We want you to ensure that you meet at least 10 other people that have that on their radar. We want you to get involved. You can be a partner. You might know other individuals or organisations that want to partner with us. And there are so many ways that we can encourage you to partner with us, to be part of this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Commonwealth Games will come back to the UK. We don't think this will again. We just don't know. It's once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. You could be a volunteer. But first and foremost, enjoy it. That's the key. Also, I'm sure, I don't know about David, but myself, if you have a few ideas for a bit of fundraising, I'm quite happy to come and be an after-dinner speaker. I'm quite happy to get on the back of my tandem with Councillor Ward if he wants to do the City of Birmingham 100 mile next year. We can raise a bit of money that way. That's my promise. That's my commitment. And bless you, I will do it, Mr. Ward. What are we going to do next? Right, we want you to go through into the hall. There will be opportunities to there meet and greet, see the athletes, have a bit of lunch, enjoy yourself. But what I wanted to do now is thank you and all your time. But I want you to demonstrate to the world that may be watching on, because we're streaming, to the athletes here, and to people, what welcome will you give that British team at the opening ceremony? Come on, show me. Do it. Tell me. Louder. Thank you. I never competed at a home games. And just to finish off, my very first major international competition that got me on the pathway to becoming a Paralympic medalist and doing all the things I've done through sport was IBSA World Games. Long time ago, but that was my first games. Thank you, IBSA, for giving me the opportunity to enjoy the pathway I've taken. Thank you for being here. Enjoy the rest of the morning or afternoon. If you've liked what I've said, my name is Tim Reddish. If you didn't, it's David Clark. Thank you.